Okay, off we go on another weekly adventure, and the prayer and intention is that wisdom and understanding comes for you from this, and for me too. I mentioned at the start the kind of happiness or peace that's not subject to not being kicked out from underneath us. So I was beginning to reveal a particular point in the spiritual life, and that is, in ancient religious language, a good example of that would be build your house on a rock, because if you build your house on something less stable, on the side of a slippery slope or the top of sand, it's going to give way sooner or later, and then whatever happiness or sense of happiness or peace that was built upon the unstable surface will inevitably give way. And when it does, there's a great fall, because it's no fun to have the foundation of what you consider to be your happiness or your peace kicked out from underneath you. Now, can you relate to this? Chances are that you can. If you're a human, and most of the people on this call are humans, we have a couple of angels, you know who you are. But if you're a human, I am, you've had the rug pulled out from underneath you. You've had the happiness kicked out from underneath your life. And of course, this can be described in a host of different ways, whether it's career or relationship or health, or you name it. I don't think we need to explain that part of it very much, but it's like the thing upon which we depended is now removed, and then we're left adrift. And then the question is, well, what on earth can we possibly build our life upon that won't ultimately be kicked out from underneath us? And even rocks are, with our modern understanding of geology, and we understand that even rocks move, right? So it brings up this unusual paradox that for the spiritually consciously minded person, there's nothing to build your life upon. There's nothing to build your life upon that's material, that will not sooner or later give way, because all material things are obviously changing. We know that. So it brings up this bizarre, weird, wacky, wonderful, phenomenal realization and understanding that's a great milestone in the life of any spiritual aspirant, is that you can't build your life on anything that won't give way, except for the one thing that will never give way, which is your own consciousness. In other words, we can't build our lives upon a material thing. Your 401k, the money that you have in your bank, these things that seem so stable, or your mate or your beloved, no matter how stable they may seem. So any material construct will give way. And the sooner we realize that, the better off we're going to be, because then we can build our lives upon the true and veritable rock. And the rock it's not a physical thing, it's consciousness itself. When we build our happiness and our joy and our contentment and our peace upon the fact that we are infinite and eternal conscious beings, within which all material things arise, they subsist, and then they dissipate within the container of our consciousness. And when this realization is established and understood and experienced, not just conceptually, but experientially, primarily through our spiritual practice of meditation, prayer, introspection, service, all these things that we're doing, then we build our happiness and our joy and our fulfillment and our contentment, and especially our peace, upon something that can never, ever, ever be kicked out from underneath us, ever. This is the great promise, because until this promise is realized, any material substrate, even our own body, the things that we depend upon the most, if when they give way, if we built our happiness or our dependency upon that, it's going to give way. So in our meditation, we're continuously getting to the bottom of things. And at the bottom of things, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no thing. There's no thingness. There's consciousness. And that's never going anywhere. It can't be wounded. It can't be harmed. It can't be degraded. It can't be extinguished. As it says in the great Hindu Bible, wind can't blow it, fire can't burn it, water can't wet it, knives can't cut it, because that's the nature of the thing that we can build our happiness upon, that will never, ever give way. Until that time, we will inadvertently build our life upon a host of things that will give way. But every time our life does give way and it seems like we've collapsed, we're only and always collapsing into something deeper and more profound, until we realize once and for all that nothing can be kicked out from underneath us, that life happens inside of us, and we're not built upon some sort of tenuous material substrate that could give way in any moment. Until that realization is made, all that is really available is a sense of anxiety or worry or impending doom or dread, or better manage everything or better control everything. And there's a shorter name for that. That's just called hell. It's just a little teeny word, but it sort of encompasses the whole thing. So we'll talk about this week. And of course, you may strenuously disagree with everything that I'm saying. Yay, because then you get to think about it and you can ask yourself, have I ever built my life upon something that's so stable and solid that nothing could be kicked out from underneath it? And thus, no matter what happened, my peace and sense of joy was continuous and unabated. What a question. I know that for me, I've had it pulled out from underneath me a few times. So we'll think about it this week, but you're headed towards something wonderful, which is the realization you're building your happiness and your peace and your truth upon something that can never be removed. Wow.